Good morning.
Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning.
You look beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Your hair looks so nice and you just look so bright this morning.
Thanks.
I think it's because you're closer to the screen and I can see you.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, how fun. I love it. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go back to the screen so that you can see what's going on.
Babe, how do I turn up the volume?
On the keyboard above the number pad.
Sam, you're muted.
Stop share. Good morning, Unity of Wichita.
Morning.
I'm so glad you guys are here. Melinda, you're sideways. Turn your phone. There she is. There you go. Perfect. Good morning, everyone. This is an exciting morning because I want to share with you that something special is happening. We are training Jessica, who is our new administrative assistant, to do the background production work. So whoop whoop. So say good morning.
Hello, good morning.
All right, guys. And with that, we will say good morning to Miss Patty Yoon. Take it away.
Thank you, Sam. And good morning, Unity of Wichita and our live streaming Sunday morning experience. I am Patty Yoon. I will be your platform leader today. We have exciting things with music by Peter Mayer this morning. Music is going to be very special today. Affirmations, meditations, and prayer is by Art Handy and Sam Jones. And our message today is by Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck. Let's give them all a hand. Thank you all for being here. Our greatest desire is that you are inspired by the music, the message, the meditation. We are glad you are here and you are a blessing to us. Once again, the power of the month is the power of faith. And faith is the power to spiritually know, to trust absolutely, to believe with confidence and conviction. So with that power of faith, let's say our mission statement on screen together. Inspiring spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And with that same power of faith, let's say our statement of being on screen together. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. Once again, we want to welcome everyone who is present here today. We especially want to welcome you if you're here for the very first time. We are honored to have you join us this morning. Our hope is that you are blessed by today's service. We hope that we get to see you in person soon. In fact, we hope we get to see everyone together in person very soon. Unity is a worldwide ministry dedicated to the ongoing awareness of the Spirit within all. We invite you to consider our teachings. If they work for you, fit into your life, wherever you may be on your spiritual journey, keep what works for you and gently release the rest. We will now bless everyone who is watching. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. And now to Art Handy for our first prayer.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. It may be clouds outside, but we have sunshine where we are. So let us just take a moment to settle ourselves and allow our awareness to expand and take in the divine energy that we are by which we are surrounded and filled. This energy, this divine energy, this energy of love, peace, life, this loving presence that is not just swimming around us, yet is our very nature. I am that, you are that, all of this is that is all there is. And as we open ourselves to this infinite and limitless field of divine principle and energy, we allow it to flow freely inside of us. We allow it to illuminate our minds, open our hearts, and quicken our spirits. And as this happens, we feel lighter and lifted and empowered. We hold our spiritual community, Unity of Wichita, in this divine energy and allow this divine energy to fortify us and fill us and strengthen us. We hold our city, our state, our country, our world in this divine energy. This divine energy is liberating in the places where there's constraint. It is rejoicing in the places where there is celebration and thanksgiving. It is clarifying where there may be confusion. It is healing in the places where there may not be wholeness. We know this divine energy, this field of grace is the reality of us. It is the nature of us. It is this field of grace that contains unity between God, human beings, and all other beings. This is the true nature of us. And we embrace this nature, and we embrace all of the bounty of blessings that comes with opening our awareness to our oneness with God. And in the name and in the nature of the Christ within, we say together, and so it is. Amen.
In the ever-shifting waters of the river of this life, I was swimming, seeking comfort. I was wrestling ways to find a boulder I could cling to, a stone to hold me fast, where I let the fretful waters of this river around me pass. And so I found an anchor, a blessed resting place, a trusty rock I called my Savior. There I would be safe from the river and its dangers, and I proclaim my rock divine, and I prayed to it, protect me, and the rock replied, God is a river, not just a stone. God is a wild raging rapids and a slow meandering flow. God is a deep and narrow passage, a peaceful sandy shore. God is a river swimmer, so let go. Still I clung to my rock tightly with conviction in my arms, never looking at the stream to keep my mind from thoughts of harm. But the river kept on coming, kept on tugging at my legs, till at last my fingers faltered and I was swept away. So I'm going with the flow now, these relentless twists and bends, acclimating to the motion and a sense of being led. And this river is like my body now, it carries me along through the ever-changing scenes and by the rocks that sing this song. God is a river, not just a stone. God is a wild raging rapids and a slow meandering flow. God is a deep and narrow passage and a peaceful sandy shore. God is a river swimmer, so let go. God is the river swimmer.
Good morning. And as we move into meditation, I would like to invite you to join with me in, excuse me, I apologize. I have to tell you, it is an adventure always to try to produce and to speak, which is why we hired Jessica. So yay for that. So as we move into our meditation today, I invite you to take a deep breath and just breathe. Allow it to be natural and flowing. No need to force it. And I invite you now to just close your eyes or soften your gaze and release any thoughts of what needs to be done or what isn't done. Release any thoughts of who's here and who's not. Just bring your awareness to your breath. Just as the beautiful song said, God is a river and we are flowing seamlessly in this fluid movement of our lives. Though we feel from time to time that we are caught on a snag, we discover that by trusting and living in the faith of this river, we are able to be freed and carried forth down the stream, over the rapids, and into the slow moving, gentle waters of the river. As we examine our lives in this space and this time, perhaps we've seen a rapid in the last year. Perhaps we've seen a rocky terrain through which that water is just trickling through, but we ride that water nonetheless. We know that we are carried by this presence of the divine. I invite you to take a deep breath into this knowing that we are always in that flow. And now that we are here in the sacred flow of the divine, I invite you to open your ears, open your hearts and your mind, and listen. Listen in the space of the silence for the message, the instruction, the direction that is given in this space. Allow it to just rise up within you, for it does not need to be judged or dissected. It just simply needs to be. And I invite you now to carry that awareness into the silence. As you are listening and hearing the trickling of the water, the speaking of the leaves that are speaking in the wind, the calls of the birds and the wind and the grasses, feeling the sunshine upon your face, you realize that you are that very presence of God, pressed into visibility. And that faith that you will be able to flow through the river of life in that presence of God becomes all the more contained within your being. I invite you to open your eyes and return into this space as we speak affirmations. God is the river. I am the river. I flow with the divine nature as me. And so it is. And so it is.
was a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
Good morning. As you know, this is Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck. I'm Wichita's Minister of Record, and it's always good to be back. And I'm enjoying working with Samantha and Art, and of course the board, and helping Unity of Wichita to be the very best it can be. And so here's some information about me. You can see I have a website, paulhasselbeck.com. I have a weekly or almost weekly podcast found at metaphysicalromp2.com, and also my email address in case you want to reach me directly at alberthasselbeck@gmail.com. So let's get romping with this month's lesson. So this talk is entitled Hope to Conviction, a Journey of Faith. So yeah, this is pretty much a 12 Powers talk. And I hope to introduce you to some things that maybe you haven't thought of. Because when I started with the 12 Powers, I did not like them. But over time, doing research and really being put in a position where I had to teach them, I found out just how important they are and how important each of these powers are important to each of us. And so here's a little roadmap. We're going to start with some fundamental concepts. You've probably heard this from me before, but I think it's always good to lay a foundation, especially if there's any new listeners. And then the metaphysics of the 12 powers, and finally, the power of faith. And I'm going to be weaving the power of faith in and out a little bit too. So here's some fundamentals. This is from Mother Myrtle Fillmore. She said, God is it, neither male nor female, but principle. That was Myrtle Fillmore's primary definition for God. And likewise, Charles Fillmore had a primary definition for God, and this is found in the Revealing Word under the definition for mind. You've probably heard God defined as divine mind. Well, here Charles says, by the term mind, we mean God, the universal principle which contains all principles. And here's a little tip. Each of the 12 powers are 12 principles that God contains. And you know, even if you believe that God created the 12 powers, this works. And then another place in Talks on Truth, he says, yet there is but one I am. It cannot be cut into parts. It is principle. It can't be cut into parts. So when you hear people talking about you that you're a drop of the divine, or you're a piece of the divine, or a part of the divine, that's not the whole truth, because principle cannot be cut up into pieces. And then in the Revealing Word, he says, the I am is the metaphysical name of the spiritual self as distinguished from the human self. So we have a spiritual self and a human self. And if we do a little math down there, you probably remember if you had algebra, if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. So with what I shared you, if God equals principle and principle equals the I am, then God equals the I am. You probably have no trouble with that. But what about this? If principle equals the I am, and the I am equals our spiritual self, then principle or God equals our spiritual self. So, you know, I talk about this all the time, that we are inherently divine. We didn't inherit it, but we are inherently or innate divine in our more absolute state. And then he said this, and this actually comes from an unpublished workers' talk. Back in the day, Charles Fillmore gave lessons to all of the workers that worked at Unity when Unity was still down at 9th and Tracy in downtown Kansas City. So this is what he said. And then if you can conceive that all that principle, all that God is right at hand for your use, all principles can be grasped and used by you. And then in the 12 powers, he says, our dominion is over our own thoughts, emotions, and passions. Have you ever thought about that? That our dominion, our mastery, we are the king and queen of our own thoughts and feelings. And no one, no thing can impact them unless we decide. But Charles also said, and keep it true Lent, prayer makes each person a master in the realm of creative ideas. And the realm of creative ideas is the realm of God, which means they are divine ideas. And yes, you probably guessed it, divine idea and principle are already and also synonyms for each other. They aren't different things. And so what does this mean? No one and or no thing has power over our minds. No one or no thing has power over our minds. And if we think they do, we are in a sense giving our power over to them. And so here's my point. We're fully human and we're fully divine. When I say we're fully human, I mean it. Now, have I developed all of my humanity? Have I developed my full potential in my personality? No, I probably haven't. And we're fully divine. Same thing. I have not fully realized my divinity. I don't know everything that the divine is. I don't know every principle that the principle contains. Remember, the definition is God is the universal principle which contains all principles. But I don't know all the principles. I don't know if anybody knows all the principles. However, the more of them we know, the better we can express our humanity. And our humanity, by the way, is made up of our personality and our physical bodies. So let's look at the 12 powers. What are they? Well, you've heard me talk about them a little bit. We call them powers. We could also call them 12 principles. We could also call them 12 divine ideas. However, at the point of us, when we're coming from our humanity, when we're in our personality, we experience them as abilities. So in our humanity, they're 12 abilities. In our divinity, they're 12 powers or divine ideas or principles. And folks, they are important. They are the primary principles that we're using to manifest ourselves, to manifest our personality, and to manifest our bodies. So let's look a little deeper into the importance. So every one of them has them, whether conscious of them or not. Yeah. So let's check. Are you ready? So your job is to answer yes or no. Do you notice you have the ability to believe? Do you notice you have the ability to be strong? Do you notice you have the ability to evaluate or compare and contrast? Do you notice you have the ability to desire, to harmonize, to unify, to be compassionate, to love? Do you notice you have the ability to master and control? Do you notice you have the ability to understand, to know? Do you notice you have the ability to choose, to direct? Do you notice you have the ability to harmonize, organize, adjust, and sequence? Do you notice you have the ability to be enthusiastic, passionate, and zealous? Do you notice you have the ability to release, to let go, and to renounce? And finally, do you notice you have the ability to energize, to vitalize, and enliven? Well, my bet is every one of you answered yes. And if you answered yes, then in a way you prove to yourself you already have these abilities in you. And if you have the abilities in you at your level of your personality, you must also have them in your divinity as your 12 powers. The next thing is everyone is always using them. You cannot not use them. And so the most important point about this, it's a good idea if we know what they are and what we can consciously use them for in the outer realm, but more importantly, in the realm of your consciousness. So these 12 powers, I call my team consciousness. Why? Because these are 12 powers, 12 abilities I use to adjust my consciousness. And Charles Fillmore talked about regenerating Christ consciousness. I talk about raising consciousness to the level of Christ consciousness or divine consciousness. And here's how I label them. My faith is my believer. My strength is my stalwart. My discernment or power of dominion is my evaluator. My love is my desirer. My dominion is my sovereign. My imagination is my dreamer. My understanding is my knower. My will is my chooser. My order is my adjuster. My zeal is my enthusiast. My elimination is my bouncer. That's my favorite. That's what we use to empower denials, to bounce thoughts and beliefs out of our consciousness. And finally, life is my vitalizer. And you know, I think I might have made a mistake on discernment as my evaluator. Discernment, the more common names for them of that power is judgment or wisdom. Just as dominion is our sovereign, Charles also called that the power of power. But when I think of them as players on my team and I'm the coach, when I'm conscious of them, I can direct them in the best ways to be the best I can be. So let's talk a little about faith. So the best place to start is this little meme down here in the right corner. I have a mustard seed and I'm not afraid to use it. I love that. I love that. That is such conviction. And that probably is the highest level of that we can use the power of faith. And that, of course, is a reference to if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And what are those mountains? You can move mountains of thoughts, ideas, and beliefs and images in your consciousness. And so one of my favorite definitions in the Bible comes from Hebrews 11:1. You can read along with me. Now, faith is assurance of the things hoped for, the conviction of things unseen. And that reminds me of the poet Tagore, who said, faith is the bird that feels the dawn and sings before first light. That bird has the faith, the knowing, the conviction that the dawn is coming, and so starts singing. And this is probably the most popular definition from Charles Fillmore from the Revealing Word. Faith is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. Spiritual assurance. And that shaping substance, that's not shaping physical things. It's shaping the substance of your mind. And what's the substance of your mind? Your thoughts, ideas, beliefs, images, feelings, emotions, experiences, and attitudes. In other words, in short, we use our faith to shape the substance of our thoughts and feelings. And so when we think about faith, from hope to conviction, we can think of it as a spiral staircase. And when we're at our most basic understanding of faith, we're at hope. But when we're at the highest level of applying our faith, we're at conviction. And I love the spiral staircase as a metaphor, because if you think of those steps in that spiral staircase are dependent on that center post. And each of these levels of faith, hope, trust, belief, confidence, conviction, depend on the power of faith, that principle, that divine idea that's within each of us. And so the third most important thing is they don't care how they're used. It's a principle. Do the principles of electricity care how you use them? Why no? And so they simply are, and they're there for our use. They can be overdeveloped or underdeveloped. So underdeveloped, the person would be the official member of the wishy-washy club. Yeah. You know wishy-washy people. Maybe you're wishy-washy sometimes. And that the other extreme, we have, warning, I'm not opinionated, I'm just always right. This is the person that believes something so firmly that they will not be confused by the facts. They will not be confused by the truth. And I think we've had some recent experience of that. And then the fifth thing is they can be used at any level of consciousness. In fact, your use of your ability of faith is dependent on your current level of consciousness. And your current level of consciousness is dependent on the overall quality of your thoughts and feelings. And so I have them divided up into 4 levels. It's really a continuum. But if someone's in victim consciousness, they're using the power of faith to believe that everything, every person is against them. They have that belief. And they think everything is happening to them. They are the victim. The next level is victor consciousness. That's where a person believes they can beat anyone or anything. They believe they're the king of the hill, so to speak. But it comes from a shallow place. And then vessel is someone who believes God is within them, like a wiener is in a bun. And that's a good place to come from. And a lot of people are there because we say things like the Christ, or the Christ in me, or the Bible says the Christ in you, your hope of glory. But you know that Christ really isn't in you that way, as like a raisin in a bun or a wiener in a bun, because there's another level of consciousness for which we can use our power of faith. And that's to believe in their innate divinity. For you and I to believe in our innate divinity. And so there you are. Everyone has them, whether conscious of them or not. Everyone is always using them. They do not care how they're used. They can be overdeveloped or underdeveloped, and you can use them from any level of consciousness you're at. And finally, going back to our spiral staircase, we have hope, trust, believe or belief, confidence, and conviction. And so in a sense, we move from a blind faith, and blind faith is all about having some outside power that does things for us or for others. And there's a whole continuum up to the understanding faith. And that's where we know these divine principles, these 12 powers and more, and know laws, spiritual laws. Spiritual laws are laws of mind, like the law of mind action. Thoughts held in mind with feeling produce more thoughts of the same kind in mind with feeling, and cause and effect and several others. And so blind faith is hope. Understanding faith is conviction. If I hold to this truth, if I hold this principle, then I will have the thoughts and ideas related to it, and I will know what action to take to it. And so we have that power of faith that's at our core. And so that's how we move from hope to conviction. Thank you for listening.
All right, guys. So Patty's been having a little bit of trouble here and there. So we will just keep moving forward this way. So that was really wonderful. So you guys may have noticed that that was a recorded lesson from Dr. Paul Hasselbeck. And that's because he made the wise decision to invite Art to speak last week in honor of Martin Luther King Sunday, Martin Luther King Jr.'s celebration on Sunday. And I think that was the right decision. But Paul was committed to 2 other churches this Sunday morning. So we made it work. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And because we have so many different people and teams supporting us, we know that it takes all of us together to support Unity of Wichita and fulfilling our mission of inspiring spiritual transformation. And I hope that you guys will go back and look at the Facebook feed or the YouTube feed from this Sunday's service, because I know Paul packed so much into his lessons. I know I'm probably going to go back and check it out. So if you would like to support us in that mission of support of spiritual transformation, then please consider giving your donations. You can make a secure donation to unityofwichita.org/donations, which will be in the chat box here in just a little bit. And you can stop by the church face to face. We would love to see you. And if we're not there, you can always drop it in the mailbox, or you can mail it to Unity of Wichita at 2160 North Oliver in Wichita 67208. So I invite you to envision your tithes. Tithing is a spiritual practice. It's not just about money. It's about the practice of committing your spiritual gifts in the form of energy that is money. So I invite you to take that tithing practice and envision your gift and join me in blessing that gift. Divine love flowing from me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Whew. Well, I have to tell you guys today, we have some announcements. I'm not going to go through every single spirit group individually this time. Just know that they're happening. Be sure and check your e-blast, the calendar. We have these things going on. So we've got Spirit Arts Group. A Course in Miracles is happening on Tuesdays and Fridays. Spirit of Strength Group, which is, of course, on Saturday mornings. Affirmative and Empowering Prayer. We've got Design Your Life Spirit Group and the 5 Principles. Now, you may have noticed that you got an extra e-blast this week, and it's because we needed to reschedule the Connect to Connect event. And so it is actually happening this Wednesday, January 27th from 6 to 7 p.m. Now you might be asking, what is this for? Well, let me tell you, it is an opportunity for you to connect with the community, with your friends and family within Unity of Wichita, and get reacquainted to what's happening in each other's lives. This is such a crazy time where we're not connecting face to face anymore. So let's do it on Zoom. And so that gives you the opportunity to do that together. And I know that those of you that join in, you'll enjoy it and you'll be able to figure out what's going on. Isn't that great? I love it. Anyway, so we are moving forward, continuing, keeping going, and let's see those kiddos. Now, if you have kiddos or you have grandchildren, then you may know that the Sunday morning youth experience has been moved to 9 a.m. And Kelly has been doing a great job of sharing information in the e-blast, sharing information on Facebook. And she also sends out individual emails and text messages to individual families. And we are so grateful for Kelly and all the work that she does. So I invite you to envision your little person, whether that's a little person now, or maybe it's your son or daughter who's grown up, but they're still little in your heart. So let's draw them into our awareness and let's bless them. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you, just as you are. And with that, I will kick this right back over to Mr. Handy. There you go, sir.
And just as you are, thank you so much for your energy and your presence, because you are the Sunday experience. And we are so grateful for each and every one of you, those who are watching either on Zoom, Facebook, or YouTube. Thank you so much. And so at this time, we will go into our closing by affirming our prayer of protection. You see it there on your monitor there. And then we will enter into the vibration of peace. So let us affirm our prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And in knowing that all is well, and in knowing that wherever God is, wherever we are, God is, let's just take a moment to just reflect on the vibration of peace. Peace is not the absence of tension or conflict, but is the presence of a knowing, of a conviction, as Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck so eloquently shared with us. This presence of the conviction and the faith, an understanding faith that we are one with God. And in this knowing, let us affirm, I am peace. I am peace. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. God bless you.